This is Emily from Mend with M, and today I'll be teaching you how to thread any sewing machine. First, we're going to start with a quick overview. For the most part, every domestic sewing machine will have markings showing how to thread. It starts at the top with the spool, usually wrapping around a few small silver hooks, down and then up around, catching on another silver hook, then down again right above the needle. There's a couple small silver hooks, and then you'll thread the needle. Now let's see it all the way through. I'll start by placing my spool onto this pillar with the thread coming off on the back, then add this little cap on to hold it steady. Then we'll be following this thread through the machine. So behind the first hook, down with the number 2, up with the number 3. 4 is catching on this other small silver hook, and you can adjust it by turning the hand wheel on the side of your machine. You'll want the wheel and the needle position at the very top, then down again and behind this small silver hook. I like to thread it by creating a figure 4 with the thread, pulling the thread parallel to the silver hook, and then tucking it behind the hook, pulling it all the way through, and then you'll cut the edge of the thread and thread the eye of the needle, pulling the thread all the way through and then tucking it under the presser foot and putting it through the edge of the machine. Sometimes machines will have an automatic threader in which you'll catch the thread under the small silver hook on the presser. So the left side, you'll see a small pedal that brings this mechanism down. You'll catch the thread behind this little triangle shape and then fully press it down with your left hand, pulling the thread up and back to the right. And it's almost like a clutch in a car. You're going to gently release both at the same time, which will allow the mechanism to pull the thread through the eye of the needle, and you can pull the thread all the way through. Next, we'll see how to fill a bobbin. So I start by holding the thread and the empty bobbin with my right hand, pinching the two together, and then wrapping counterclockwise, anti-clockwise, so that the thread is coming on the bobbin spool left to right. Then you'll use the thread that's coming on to hold that little tail down. So you'll wrap it maybe 10 times or so. And then again, you'll follow the instructions on the machine to wind the thread into the bobbin mechanism, to tell the machine to change from moving the needle up and down to moving the bobbin to spin. You'll push this little small pillar to the right. Once you do that and you press the pedal, you'll see that the bobbin starts winding. Once you've filled the bobbin, you'll simply cut the thread, rethread your machine, and placing the bobbin, I always remember that it looks like a big P. So the circle of the bobbin on the right with the thread hanging down on the left-hand side. This is a top feeding bobbin, and I'm just placing it directly down. And then I want to be really mindful of weaving the thread underneath this small arm. Sometimes it's a very tiny silver hook, and then cutting the thread and closing it up. And that's how you thread any sewing machine.